The one thing that's kind of weird, and first thing I ask myself is, how the hell is Anthony Weiner still alive? Hillary's the problem.
You read a list of people because you have the power to do it. People who do that are bullies, and I don't appreciate bullies.
I have the power. How is it that the reputation that follows them as people close to them die? Why is that?
What is this? Have you gone through the personal connection of every single person related to Bush or Cheney or Obama or Clinton or any of these other politicians to see how many of these people died? Half the people in Washington, the average age of the person was like 73 years old.
Yeah, I think that, yeah, I mean, I guess
He's so scared to disagree.
You were very eloquent on the way you defended Hillary Clinton, on who she was when it comes down to politics. Are you still close to that family?
I'm not.
Okay. So who do you think between the two was a better politician? You think Bill's the better politician? Do you think Hillary's the better politician?
I don't think Hillary was a particularly good politician.
Okay, so she's a better strategist, you would say. She's more strategic, power.
She is a classic blooming where she's potted kind of public official.
Yeah.
Everything that she has been given to do. I watched her, you know, as a rookie elected official come into New York and become an amazing senator. I watched her at Secretary of State be like, she blooms where she's potted. She knows government well. She's smart as a very, very smart person. Yeah. But I can tell you that it's hard. I think it was hard for her to get her sea legs, being the first woman candidate of a major party. I think it was hard for her to get her sea legs in the framing of Bill Clinton's wife. I think it was a lot of things. A lot of challenge she faced that you and I would not face on the campaign.
Do you think she's a good person?
I do.
Okay, so you know, when we announced the fact that we're interviewing you, we kind of crowdsourced with the audience what questions do you want to ask, and then our research team will go and say, hey, is there any credibility to this or not? And then we don't.
Hello?
So you have to ask him about frazzle drip. Go look it up.
What are you saying? Hello?
What?
Why are you just muttering random shit? No, you're like saying.
Am I far away from the mic? I don't know.
Okay, we're going back to watch this video.
What did you not hear?
Nothing. Okay, you're good.
Video is a deep fake. No, any credibility to it on what happened with Hillary Clinton, Huma, and all this stuff? Nope, we're not going to ask him about that because I don't yet see a real source. A lot of it was stuff that, conspiracy, all this stuff that's being said, we're not going there. Yeah, you need to ask him about Pizzagate because that's exactly what's going on with kids. Yeah, no, we're not going there. That's not something we're going to be asking him about. Yeah, you need to ask him about this and you need to ask him about this. I said, okay. All of these things that they said we have to ask you about. To be fair, Bill Clinton officiated your wedding with Huma, your wife, if I'm not mistaken. Correct. So you've been very close, and your wife, is it still wife or is it ex-wife? I think it's separated since 2017, right?
We're separated. We co-parent Jordan, but we're separated. Okay.
And, she was a right-hand person to Hillary Clinton in 2016 while the scandal was taking place.
For years before that, she was with Hillary for, she's 20 years.
And the whole thing with the life insurance, the email, 650,000, one folder with the word life insurance and the files that are in there. So the next thing that people said you got to ask him is the following. So, Rob, if you can pull up this story, I'm not going to buy into this one. Well, 9 out of 12 cops, NYPD, who saw the email and saw what was in that laptop, committed suicide. And it was, 7 of them since June, and it was the most ever that this took place. And these are the men that committed suicide. So then we went and looked it up. And we're like, no, they did commit suicide, but it wasn't linked directly to seeing the laptop or the intel there. No problem. So again, no credibility there. So there's no reason to ask you the question about the 9 out of 12 cops that saw it in NYPD.
You shouldn't even be listing them and giving oxygen.
No, my job is to listen because I like to read.
No, list them. You shouldn't be listing these things. Well, these things
it is what it is.
Destructive. People have actually had violence done over these things.
These are conspiracy theories that
all
some
that have
people,
books about them, though.
Right.
I wouldn't
but the one
recommend you
thing
read.
that's kind of weird, and first thing I ask myself is, how the hell is Anthony Weiner still alive? What do you mean by that? Well, when you go through the list of people that have been close to Hillary Clinton and the Clintons and the death pool, this is not a conspiracy. You got the names of James McDougal, okay, Clinton's convicted Whitewater partner, died of an apparent heart attack. Mary Mahoney, a former White House intern, was murdered July 1997 at a Starbucks coffee shop in Georgetown.
Ron Brown, he died in a plane crash.
Vince Foster
What is this?
Vince Foster was the next one. By the way, the James Dougal was a
Oh, Jesus.
The key witness in a key can start
Ron
investigation.
Brown was in a plane crash. Why is he on the list?
Ron Brown is another one, but there was a close person to this. Victor Razor. You got Paul Tooley, Ed Woolley.
Wait a minute. You're reading a list of people that Bill and Hillary Clinton knew. They're 80. They're 70-something years old.
I'm asking you this question. I'm asking you this question and an answer at the end. So you got Jerry Parks, Jane Bunch, James Wilson, Kathy Ferguson, Bill Shelton, Candy Bow, Florence Martin, Susan Coleman, Paula Grober, Danny Casolero, Paula Wilker, John Parnell Walker, Barbara Weiss. We should verify this yourself because you're running a radio show. You should look it up.
Charles Meisner,
Dr. Stanley Hurd, Barry Beal, Barry Seal, Johnny Lawhorn,
Can you read me the URL you're reading? Can you read me the URL you're reading?
We'll send you the most credible source you can look it up.
I want to hear the URL. That's a really good question. Is this like www.clintonkilllist.com? I'm so curious. What is the URL to this? Oh, yeah, true. Thank you. Is this the list? The URL is www.legacyfirearmsco.com. Nice.
We will. We'll put the link below. We'll put the link below.
Just tell me so I know what I'm responding to.
Friday, Kevin Ivey, Dan Henry.
PBD not saying the URL is evidence that he knows he's operating in bad faith. Why wouldn't you just say the URL? If he doesn't say it, that's an astounding show of like scumbaggery from him. But
Keith Coney, and these were part of the Ivy Henry case. Keith McCaskill.
What's the Ivy Henry case?
You can look it up. Ivy Henry case. So Gregory Collins, Jeff Rhodes, James Milland, Richard Winter, and then you got the close bodyguards, Major William Barkley, Captain Scott Reynolds, Brian Hanley, Tim Sable, General William Robertson.
You don't even know what you're reading a list of. How is this helpful?
Robert Kelly, Colonel Gary Rhodes, Steve Wills, Robert Williams, Conway LeBlue, Todd McKeon. I'm done. It's 46 names. And
of what? Can you read me the list? Can you read me the URL so I know what you read a list of before I answer any questions about it?
When I finish this, stillinthestorm.com. You can look it up.
Stillinthestorm.com. This is your big moment, guys.
Stillinthestorm.com. Is that even the right URL? Jesus.
Yeah, so you can go. And by the way,
ads about chemtrails at the end of it.
He hasn't even asked the question. He's just reading the article.
He's reading a list of names.
So he hasn't even asked the question. It's a list.
Yo, come on. Oh, he's simping because it's his boss.
The fact that you're getting nervous is an answer.
It's not.
The getting nervous? Here I am reading 50 The President's Sunday Strat. Is this guy, somebody said this guy runs an MLM. I should show up on one of their shows and have 100 names of people that have filed for bankruptcy that have been part of his thing, and then at the end I'll say what it's about.
I'm nervous. This stuff makes me sick when you repeat
exactly.
these
makes us sick as
ridiculous-
well. It also makes us sick.
It obviously doesn't.
Of course, because the establishment makes us sick.
You start the question by reading a list of well-founded
Your reaction is an answer.
conspiracy. I know these things make me sick, and people have gotten killed.
Your reaction is an answer.
Someone went into a pizza parlor in Washington because they believe this shit, and you're making an echo chamber.
Your reaction is an answer. So let me go to it here now.
No.
Your reaction is an answer. You're not going to read a list.
Yeah, my reaction is my reaction.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you tell me what that list, in your view?
You haven't allowed me to finish. If you allow me to finish the question,
you're reading 46
then
random names.
What I'm trying to figure out is, so this is, hold on, I'm intensely interested in this actually. Okay, because this is like the billion-dollar question. So does this guy on the left know that he's working as a propagandist, or does he actually think he's operating in good faith? Does he think that ambushing somebody with a 50-person list and not even reading what it's about before getting to the, does he know that this is like a bad faith propaganda strategy? Or does he actually think he's coming from a place of good faith?
So off the internet,
whatever you want.
Some insane website.
I love your answer.
And these people who you don't even know who they are, you're reading them on a list of something, making some kind of as if it's somehow suspicious. You don't even know who these human beings are, who have families, who are like out there, and now
I'll spend the next 2 hours with you, one by one, explaining who each of these individuals are if you want to do that.
How about you pick one? Pick one and tell me who he was and what his story was. No, not you. You were asking me the question. Pick one name and then tell me.
Pull up Vince Foster if you want.
No, Vince Foster, that suicide has been investigated 50 times. Pull up one of the obscure names you pulled. Why did you pull Ron Brown? Here, let me read Ron Brown. Ron Brown, a Commerce Secretary who a plane crashed while he was on a humanitarian mission, crashed into the side of a mountain. So what do you want to know about Ron Brown? What do you want to know about Ron Brown?
Can you let me ask the question?
No.
Oh my God, that's actually such a scumbag move.
Listen, this is a conversation.
No.
We're having a conversation.
I'm sorry. I'm the host. You invite me to your podcast. You get to ask the question. I'm the host. I'm going to ask you the question. You haven't let me answer the question.
I didn't see
your reaction is already an answer.
I know. I am infuriated by people who drag other people's name who are powerless. You're not powerless.
Hillary Clinton is powerless?
No, these people.
Hillary Clinton is powerless.
These people.
That's the problem.
These people.
Hillary's the problem.
You read a list of people because you have the power to do it. People who do that are bullies, and I don't appreciate bullies.
I have the power to do what?
You do. To read a list of some stranger's names.
The DOJ and other things to control and hide.
I will say, for all of his faults of sexting, was it a 16-year-old or 17-year-old? Anthony Weiner did have a lot of God City moments. Where was the one he had? Oh, what am I trying to remember? Was it this? Was it this?
Gentleman from New York is recognized.
Mr. Speaker, I yield 1 minute to the distinguished gentleman from New York, Mr. Weiner.
Gentleman is recognized.
Great courage to wait until all members have already spoken and then stand up and wrap your arms around procedure. We see it in the United States Senate every single day where members say, we want amendments, we want debate, we want amendment, but we're still a no. And then we stand up and say, oh, if only we had a different process, we'd vote yes. You vote yes if you believe yes. You vote in favor of something if you believe it's the right thing. If you believe it's the wrong thing, you vote no. We are following a procedure. I will not yield to the gentleman, and the gentleman will observe regular order. The gentleman will observe regular order. Gentleman thinks that if he gets up and yells on it, if he's going to intimidate people into believing he's right, he is wrong. The gentleman is wrong. The gentleman is providing cover for his colleagues rather than doing the right thing. It's Republicans wrapping their arms around Republicans rather than doing the right thing on behalf of the heroes. It is a shame. A shame.
Oh, this was that same bill that Jon Stewart. Oof. Anthony Weiner, he must be from New York, right? He sounds like it. Is he? He was from, oh, New York's not, yeah. Okay, yeah. New Yorkers, and Jon Stewart included, were super ass mad that Republicans were blocking this fucking bill for 9/11 first responders. What the fuck? That's like actual evil shit, bro. Why would you block this bill? I don't even know what the reason was. There must be some reason. There must have been some strategy or something, but
if you believe this is a bad idea to provide health care, then vote no! But don't give me the cowardly view that, oh, if it was a different procedure, the gentleman will observe regular order and sit down. I will not. The gentleman will sit. The gentleman is correct in sitting.
Bro. We had some God City moments. Gets into a shouting match after leaving a bakery in an Orthodox Jewish neighborhood.
Very nice. In front of children use that language. That is charming. Charming. Yeah, it takes one to know it. What's up? What's up? What's that? You wait till I walk out till you say anything. That's courage. That's courage. You wait till I walk out to say, hey, yeah, you're not afraid of anything. Don't use language in front of kids.
Things. You have a nerve to even walk around in public.
And you're a perfect person?
I'm not
You're
perfect.
my judge?
But I
you're
didn't,
my judge?
I didn't
What
do what
rabbi
you did.
taught you that?
I didn't do what
What
you
rabbi
did.
taught you that you're my judge?
You're fine. You talk to God and work out your problems, but stay out of the public eye.
Well,
That's
I'm
the
not going to
difference.
stay with. That's not for you to judge, my friend.
Yes.
I don't take my judgment from you, and I don't judge you.
You're a bad example.
That's
for the
your
people.
judgment?
No, that's obvious.
Okay,
Your
no, that's
behavior
why we have
is
elections.
deviant. It's
That's
not
why they have
normal
elections.
behavior.
And you're perfect. You're going to judge me.
I'm not running for office.
You know who judges
I'm not
me?
out there in the public.
You know who judges me?
I'm telling you,
You know
what
who
you did is
judges me?
disgusting.
Go visit with
It's
your
immoral.
rabbi.
It's
Go visit
immoral.
with your rabbi. Shows you how much you
And
know.
think about your wife.
By the way,
right? How could you take the person?
By
you're
the way,
closest
that
to
is between
who
me and her
trusts
and my
you,
God, not
who trusts
between you.
and betray her.
That's not up
Think
to
about
you.
that. It's
That's not
obvious.
up to you.
It has nothing to do. It's
Yeah,
obvious.
you're trying to judge
relationship
me
you have.
because you obviously
Think about
believe
it.
you're superior.
No. Think about
well,
what's
you're
normal.
not.
What's
Not
God, why this guy have to be a weirdo?
I can't believe you fucked up with Huma, dude.
Where's the doesn't he read like how a bill becomes a law or whatever? Fuck, am I crazy? Did he get up in front of Congress and read how a bill becomes a law? Am I making that up? Oh shit, it might be this one.
The gentleman from New York, Mr. Weiner.
The gentleman from New York is recognized for 2 minutes.
My friends, I think it was truly an edifying experience that we had in the opening days of Congress, that we read the Constitution. And I think one of us had the great good fortune to read Article 1, Section 7, every bill shall have passed the House of Representatives and the Senate shall, before it became law, be presented to the President of the United States. That's how a bill becomes a law. Now, this is how Eric Cantor on 3/30/2011 said a bill becomes a law. The Senate's gotta, this is just the transcription, I didn't do that, I just assume it's the Southern thing. The Senate's gotta act prior to the expiration of the CR. If it does not act, meaning the Senate does not do something, H.R. 1 becomes the law of the land. That's not true. That's not constitutional. That's not fitting of this body. Now, it is, however, consistent with how the majority party has been governing around here. They've passed rules that they have ignored. For example, on January 5th, they had members of their caucus take the oath in front of a television set. On February 9th, they failed to provide constitutional authority for a bill despite that it was one of their rules. On March 13th, they failed to get a 3/5 majority for passage of a bill that raised tax rates despite the fact that it was part of the rules. On March 17th, they failed to make a bill available within 72 hours, despite the fact it was part of the rules. And just March 30th, they failed to include an offset for a new government program. The rules are not a big thing for them to follow, because this is why it's hard. It's a big book. So I brought you this. House Mouse, Senate Mouse, which is sold in the gift shop to teach children how to understand the Constitution, and permit me to read. It's the floor of each chamber, the Senate and House, where each senator and each Congress mouse gets to vote on the bill. And if enough do, this president signs it if he likes to. Well, the Senate mices haven't passed this yet. Perhaps if this were the rules that the Republicans had to follow, it's a much thinner book and it rhymes, maybe you'd get it right. But this is not the Constitution.
Time has expired.
All right, guys, come down here. All right, everybody rally up. Everybody, I think he got fucked because he was sexting apparently he was a 15-year-old. Anthony, what are you doing, bro? You can't be a Democrat, get away with that, okay?
DOJ.
Yeah.
DOJ didn't make this list.
Let me finish up my question.
Some jackass made a list in his basement.
You have the right to
You're
answer.
reading their names as if they're incriminating in some way.
You have the right to
That's
answer.
bullying, and I don't appreciate. And I stand up against bullies.
Please do so.
He hasn't even asked the question yet,
He's
Anthony.
reading a list and he's refused. And now he says, "Let's move on."
No.
Because I set your answer
Nobody
already.
has said move on.
He hasn't
You're
even asked the
panicking.
question. I don't even know what the question is.
Pick a name.
I'm gonna ask you a question.
Reading
and you get
a
to
list
answer
of people who
or
probably
not answer.
And there are some of those people that had military titles in front of them, and you're dragging their name.
That's even the point.
You're dragging their name
That's
through
even the point.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Because their families would want to know.
Because you've got a podcast.
Some of their families would want to know.
Some conspiracy theory podcast, some conspiracy theory that 9 people read. You find some guy that comes in, and then you go from Ron Brown to some obscure officer that used to protect Bill Clinton, who passed away. May he rest in peace for his service.
May all of them rest in peace.
And you are dragging them into some wacky conspiracy theory.
May all of them rest in peace. So here's the question for you. Because millions of people are not convinced Hillary Clinton is a good person.
Again, with the other people. Millions of people.
Including myself. If you want to do that, I'm not
put the questions
I'm
in
not
your
worried
own.
about
Don't try to make it about some bozo who put up a website. Put in your own words.
Here's a question for you, Guy. It's a very simple question for you. So how is it, when you think about other candidates, okay, everybody has a stereotype. You have a reputation whether you like it or not. What's your reputation? Your reputation is you like to text underage girls and you like to talk to girls and you sex sending pictures of your dangling. That's your reputation. Whatever you do, you can't do anything about it. Adam has a reputation. Adam is a playboy in Miami.
You better get back to that list of strangers you read a list of.
Trust me, I'm getting back to it. Tom's got a reputation. His reputation is a man who
And right now, your reputation is listing strangers who served in the military and dragging their name through the
I have a reputation to ask tough questions and piss some people like you off. That's my reputation.
Including dead people who I'm going to stand up for.
Oh, trust me, we are standing up for them more than you are standing up for them.
Let's see. You better get back to that list because we're going to clear some people's names today.
My question for you is, how is it that in the last 50 years, we don't have a single candidate. Everybody has their own. Hey, John F. K. was a playboy with Marilyn Monroe. Trump, Karen McDougal, Stormy Daniels. You know, George Bush linked to 9/11 and weapons of mass destruction. Bill Clinton linked to Arkansas women, all this others. Everybody has a reputation. How is it that the reputation that follows them is people close to them die? Why is that?
What is this retarded question? Have you gone through the personal connection of every single person related to Bush or Cheney or Obama or Clinton or any of these other politicians to see how many of these people died? Or Bill Clinton, I was thinking. Like, what is this question? Like, no offense to the people in Congress, but like half the people in Washington, the average age of the person was like 73 years old. Like, how many of these people die? Don't we have, what's the name of the woman? Is it Feinstein, who's like in a wheelchair, who's been out with like a stroke for 6 months? She's like trying to pass bills via text right now because she's hooked up to a hospital. Sorry, that was extreme. But like, bro, come on. Like, what the question is this? We'll find out in a minute.
At a story that many people believe in. Why is that?
Are the Clintons in their 70s yet? You don't think I can make a list of other people who are 70-something years old and say this person died, that person died, this person died? Hold on.
How come they haven't done that with Bush? He's in the same age.
I have no freaking idea why they haven't.
How come they haven't done that with Trump?
Hold on a second. So are you saying, so you agree with what I'm saying?
How come they haven't done that with Reagan?
So
how come they haven't done that with Kerry?
What point are you?
Because people aren't as obsessed with them as Republicans are with you. What do you mean? And even if they did do it, you would explain all of it away. When they did Benghazi, they got nothing, and they were ass mad about it. When they did Hillary emails, they got nothing, and they were ass mad about it. When we go into Trump, we get Flynn, we get Stone, we get Manafort, we get Cohen, we get all these, we get 14 indictments on Russian operatives, and crickets from you guys. We get Trump on federal indictments. We get Trump on state felony charges, and crickets. What do you mean? Why do they only go into Clinton? You have nothing on Clinton. We got Papadopoulos. Like, you have nothing. There's literally nothing. You have nothing. All you have are people around Hillary Clinton that have died. Hillary Clinton was under oath for like 11 hours. Trump went under oath for 2 hours in a deposition and couldn't tell the difference between his wife and a woman he purportedly raped. Okay? Like, come the f on, dude. The partisan hackery.
Making about these men and women who you listed.
How is it so many people close to them die? How is it so many people close to them?
Everybody dies.
How is
Are you
so
suggesting? Okay.
I'm asking the question.
You're asking a bizarre question.
Exactly.
It's a bizarre question. It's got to be intentional. He's a con artist, or he has to be. This is intentional. This doesn't happen on accident. I've seen people that ask these questions on accident. This isn't accidental. This is the work of a bad faith, like intentionally so. Like, that's what this is, 100%.
Did people die? No, what pisses me off, and I'm going to say this again because you apparently are not listening to me. You read a list of people off an obscure website that of conspiracy theory, taking a Venn diagram of everyone that ever worked in the orbit of someone who served in public life for 50 years.
50 years.
And you listed them, including people in the military, including strangers you could not pull out of a, and you are implying that there's something nefarious. Let me finish my thought. Let me finish my thought.
Please do so, because I got another source coming in here for you.
You're implying both with the question and with the website. The website says it explicitly. You're implying it. Let me finish.
Go ahead.
You're implying that something.
You are implying. Until he's done. Go for it.
You are implying that something nefarious is afoot, both with the question and with the list. Hillary Clinton, she's a big girl. I'm a big boy, you're a big boy. The people that you just listed,
they're all...
Listen to me. No, these are obscure people that you could not pull out of...
You're a great politician, buddy.
Wait a minute, hold on.
Fantastic.
You know what? You are the classic bully. You list someone's name, and are you going to go back and clarify it? Are you going to go clarify?
You know what the qualities of your personality is. You want to really know that.
Ad hominem attack on me is going to somehow clear that person's name?
There isn't anybody at this table that's a bigger bully than you.
I tell you. Oh yeah? You just listed some strange...
What is this? You're a bully? That list includes people who died in Waco? Wait, really?
Ice cream's so good.
What is this?
Quick, before they find me, Blackrock owns most United States banks. They own all major pharma companies and mainstream media. They oversee 10% of all stocks traded worldwide. They manage over $10 trillion in assets, which is half of the United States GDP.
But that doesn't mean they own it, right? These are managed funds. These are actively and passively managed funds for other people.
They, BlackRock and Vanguard, own 18% of Fox, 16% of CBS, 13% of Comcast, which also controls NBC, MSNBC, CNBC, Sky News, and they own 12% of Disney. They are the biggest institutional investors of Google, Facebook, Amazon, and now they're buying up all the homes and artificially inflating your mortgage so you will own nothing and be happy.
Okay, good one. Artificially. I love artificial inflation. I love it when people artificially inflate the price. What does that mean? Okay. Nobody that believes in the BlackRock shit actually understands what BlackRock does. I know that because when I debated James Lindsay on stage, whoa! Anybody trying to like argue that doesn't know anything about finance and wants to be like, well, actually, since these guys own 10% in that company, they basically control everything. It's like, bro, you can kill yourself and me all at the same time.
No, of course, the United States does not have clean hands. Yes, the United States was, you know, pushing too far east with the whole Ukraine NATO thing. Yes, the United States, or no, I should say, we should not have had the Aegis missiles in Poland. However, this is where I differ from a lot of my friends. None of that, to me, justifies Vladimir Putin's invasion of a sovereign country. And to me, if you're an anti-imperialist, that's you're an anti-imperialist if the U.S. does it. And to me, I'm an anti-imperialist if Putin does it. And I obviously, we need a negotiated settlement. Obviously, the only ultimate possibility is a negotiated settlement. Someone like the foreign minister of Denmark has said, let's get together, but it has to be not just Ukraine's allies. It's not a unipolar world anymore. It's a multipolar world. You got to get everybody here. You got to have China, you got to have India, Brazil, and so forth. However, I think some people talk very simplistically about what it means to call a ceasefire. The United States does not have the power to just walk in there and say, hey guys, stop, okay? If you were simply to, if the West were simply to withhold all aid at this point, military aid, then the peace would not be the result. It would simply be the avenue by which Putin would crush Ukraine. So no, I'm not on with that. I would like to see it be a negotiated settlement in which Ukraine has any Ukraine to negotiate.
Yeah, I think that, yeah, I mean, I guess I
He's so scared to disagree with people with clout.
I do agree that if the United States would withhold all arms from Ukraine tomorrow, that this would be absolutely devastating for Ukraine. I don't disagree with that, except due to that reality, I think that they have a lot more power in the negotiations process in terms of like issuing a terms of ceasefire than, you know.
But what does that look like? I don't understand quite what that would look like. To whom? We don't have the power to dictate that to Putin. Who are you saying we're dictating those terms to?
There's well, that's why you have to have China at the table as well. But ultimately,
Xi went to Russia. We were hoping for that. I was hoping for that. Xi went to Russia. He spoke with Putin. Zelensky said, hey, call me. We were all hoping, listen, I don't care who can come up with an answer to this. And we were hoping, and they actually ended up with these quite weak principles. So,
well, there was a 15-point plan negotiated in Turkey in the earlier version of the invasion that seemingly was a little bit more prosperous. Zelensky himself even conceded to pushing Crimea later down, you know, to like a 15-year program for Crimea, where he would like have another democratic vote on how to best continue on with those negotiations. That all fell apart when Boris Johnson visited Ukraine, and I don't think that England has any sort of agency in this conversation beyond operating as a mouthpiece for the American State Department.
And then there's that interview with Naftali Bennett and so forth. So,
how much aid is the UK? Working with our partners is incredibly important. It's not just the United States. The United States is not the only boy here. The United States is the leader here, but we're leading the efforts of other nations. It's incredibly important that we bring in huge allies like France, Germany, and the United Kingdom into these talks to coordinate like assistance for Ukraine. It's not just the US. That's the UK, they can't say shit. Who the f cares about them? But that's not true. They're a really important member of our alliance. Yeah, Europe has sent more in aid, I think, than the United States has. Like,
yeah, I mean, I don't think you have to excuse the United States to stand for the sovereignty of Ukraine.
Yeah, I'm just saying that like there was a peace negotiation with a 15-point plan.
I don't disagree with that.
So okay, so that's Russia and Ukraine. You talked about
I wonder what this 15-point plan encompassed. Was this actually like agreed? Tell retards to work with the template? Yeah, make sure you've clicked refresh so you've got a new template to work with, guys. Was this 15-point plan like actually like here is a 100% 50, or was this just like there were talks about this but nothing actually got ironed out?
Multipolarity. So what is your opinion on the current administration dealing with China, and what would you do differently?
We need to walk back the Cold War talk. We need to...
Hello?
Oh, hi, what's up?
This 15-point plan he's talking about, is that new? I thought there was a 12-point plan that China proposed like this year. I don't know what he's talking about, a 15-point plan.
I don't know.
That Boris Johnson, I think he might just be taking two completely separate stories and tying them together.
He's making it sound like there was a 15-point plan worked out in Turkey, and then Boris Johnson came and pulled the plug on it.
I have no idea what the fuck he's talking about. The Boris Johnson thing is last year. That was 2020. That was like a month after the invasion, or April after the invasion. The Chinese 12-point plan was this year. So I don't know what the fuck he's talking about, but that Boris talking point is also complete horseshit. Boris went to Ukraine, I think, in April 2022, and basically said Putin is a tyrant who can't be negotiated with. And Zelensky basically agreed. People interpret this visit as Boris tanking negotiations with Russia, but the timeline's already off. So like a month earlier in March, I think Zelensky did say he was willing to let go of NATO, right? That was like very early on into the invasion. And it did seem that there were a few Russian diplomats who wanted to negotiate at that point. But in between that happening and Boris doing that visit, Russia went to the UN and said Ukraine and the United States were building bioweapons to attack Russians.
Okay.
So I think at that point, it was already quite clear that there's no negotiating with these people, right? At least when Boris said that, it was in the context of like Russia behaving in a very unnegotiable way. So I have no, like, unless there is a 15-point plan I never heard about, it sounds like Hasan has taken a story from this year, pushed it back a year, and then thrown the Boris thing in and just said, and just like invented that story in his head. Unless I'm completely wrong about 15-point plan, but I've never heard of that anyway.
Okay. Love you.
All right. Take care.
To completely shift the paradigm of foreign relations. You know, we skirt disaster. We skirt disaster when it comes to the environment. We skirt disaster when it comes to the economy. We skirt disaster when it comes to people's lives and healthcare. We skirt disaster when it comes to war. We absolutely must move from an oppositional, adversarial role with other powers once again. Like you and I both agreed, it's a multipolar world now. We're not the only superpower. And it's our own fault, by the way. It's our own fault. We squandered our moral authority. We squandered our military respect. And hey, we left a lot of openings for China to just walk right in there in terms of their...
I don't necessarily feel like it's a bad thing, to be fair.
No, I'm not even...
God, it's so cringe. It's not a bad thing if the U.S. becomes weaker. I actually really like it when China and Russia are big countries. Like, I hate that he's just like Sneeko. All these retards are so critical of the United States, and they don't realize that they would literally get murdered in any other country if they tried to do the type of media they do. Could you imagine being in China, being like, China deserved Tiananmen Square. China deserved Tiananmen Square. That was their fault. I'm glad. Like, dude, you would get executed quicker than your uncle could find you a new job. Like, it would be over instantaneously, right? Could you imagine it being in Russia and being like, I'm glad the Soviet Union collapsed. It was way too imperialistic. Like, you would have so much you would glow walking outside. Your body would be so irradiated from all the plutonium they would shove up your spoiled little rich kid asshole. Like, I hate these guys are so quick to simp for these other authoritarian dictatorships, and then they come back to the United States like, fascist, fascist, fascist. God, it's so cringe. God, I hate every lefty foreign policy take so much, dude.
That about does it, because your PR person was telling me. I mean, I think you did a great job. You know, this was not meant to be a contentious interview, regardless, because I think that we do agree on a lot.
I'm your fan.
See you next time, bucko.